So, hello everybody, and welcome to the Bright Founders Talk at Temi. Temi is an international software company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. My name's Matthew, and I'm joined today by Mr. Ammar Akhtar, who is the CEO of Final Rentals. How are you today, Ammar?
Hi, Matt. How are you doing? Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm fine. Thank you very much. And very, very excited to be a part of this podcast and looking forward to our conversation.
So before we get into it, can you tell us a little bit about Final Rentals?
Yeah, absolutely. So Final Rentals is a platform for local car hire companies. So we help local companies, become digital because imagine people, having a car rental company in suburbs, having 65, 60 cars working from the till. These guys don't understand how digital works, the world of internet, e-commerce, CRMs, payment gateways, and all those things. So when they join our platform, we give them a turnkey solution. So instantly they have everything and they can start using it from day one, and they can upload their fleet to our platform and start getting bookings from online channels, whether it's Kayak, Skyscanner, VIP Cars, Discover, all these online channels, and basically start making money from the internet, the money that was not there for them before using our platform.
Fantastic. It sounds terrific. It sounds like a good solution. We'll get a little bit more into that, but I know that you had a lot of experience with the car rental industry before Final Rentals. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and the birth of the company?
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from Pakistan. So in 2006, I moved from Pakistan to Dubai as a web developer, and my first project was to build a website for Budget Rent-A-Car. So Budget is a very big brand, as you know. It was a very big brand, and it was a very big project. And sometimes I just think that this industry, selected me, instead of me selecting an industry. So that project was a big success, and I worked in the industry for 15 years, made websites and platforms for Thrifty, Dollar, Europe Car, HUDs, Enterprise, Alamo, Payless, all these companies in Dubai. And while I was working for these companies, I was always thinking that these companies have so many resources, people, cars, locations, so much, drivers, and they also struggle to get bookings from the online channels. So what will, let's say, a Matt car rental do, like a local player? How do local players, get all these bookings? Because in future, it will be totally unsustainable if you don't have any online presence. So that was the fundamental thought that basically gave birth to Final Rentals. It was with me for so many years, and finally in 2019 I took the leap of faith, and yeah, that's how it was born.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us. Tell me the leap of faith. What was that like for you? Because it sounds like you had a job, you had security, you had safety, and you had this idea, and what, did you have to throw it all to the side? Did you do two things at once? How did you go about making the decision?
So Matt, one thing about me is I don't believe in, doing two things at once. So I'm a very focused sort of a guy. So I left all that. I left a very stable income every month. And with all my savings, for 15 years that I had in the bank, I used, and I started, Final Rentals in 2019. And within the first 8 months, I lost all that money. Within the first 8 months, I was down to our last $4,000 from $205,000 that was the capital I used to build Final Rentals. And in 8 months, it all bombed, right? I had a very nice office near the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. I had like 15 employees. We were placing our ads everywhere, billboards on the main highway, Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes, everybody, everywhere, we were having the presence. And within 8 months, I lost all that money. So that was a lesson when I think about it, it still gives me goosebumps, because that was one thing that really sort of changed me as a person. Because before, when I started, I was coming from a very stable background, good money, in the pockets, and I was more of running it as a business owner than, let's say, a founder or entrepreneur. So I restarted again in November 2019. Restarted again. And from a different approach. We also had COVID-19 time. Then from March till November, we were almost off in 2020. That time also sort of taught me many lessons. One lesson was not to stay in Dubai and just go out, make it like a global player, not just be in a small pond, right? no matter how attractive the pond was with so many skylines. So yeah, it has been a fascinating journey. But since I've come to the UK, since I've started here, I think we have really grown almost 20x. We have raised funds. So from the leap of faith to now as a scale up, I think I have seen many ups and downs, and now I can tell you that I'm in a place where I can really see it as a very, very big business, and it can become a huge business in car rentals.
That is fantastic to hear, and it's very inspirational to hear. I can just imagine what must have been going through your mind when you were sitting on, you said, those last $4,000. The stress must have been insurmountable. How did you find the energy or the drive to say, okay, this is what's happened, this is where we are, I know this can work, and then start everything again from scratch?
So I completely agree with you. When I discovered that I have the last 4,000 left in the account. So first thing I did, it was like a time of denial. Like, I just could not believe it, to be honest. So I went to the bank and I got the bank statement of the last 8 months, this much, bank statement, and I was reading, row by row, I was reading all the transactions, and because I was just not able to understand where on earth I have lost, all this money, right? So yeah, that it was tragic. It was mentally exhausting. I have to say it was mentally exhausting. How I overcame it, I took a break. I took like 7 days off. I went to meet my father after 6 years. So I was meeting him after 6 years. I went to my father. My father lives in Milano, in the suburbs of Milan, and he already did what he wanted to do, and he was retired, and having a very chilled out life. So I met him, spent some time with him. Didn't tell him what exactly he went through, but I was with him for a week, and I discovered one thing from my father was he was a very happy man, and he was happy about small things. So he will go to grocery and or Lidl, and he will see biscuits, buy one get one free, and he'll be very happy about it.
Yes.
Oh, we have a special offer, I'm going to buy two, right? Mm-hmm. So he will buy yogurt and he'll be very happy about it. Like, today I'm buying, this at a discounted price. And I said, what, Ammar, this is life. This is life, is that you're happy about small things, no matter how big of a damage, that has happened. But still I have a platform, I still have a technology, I still have something that really works. So when I sort of came back to Dubai after that week or 7 days, I was a different person. It really changed me as a person. I started looking at things from the ground up, from the canvas level, and fix where exactly it is needed, and became very capital efficient, really. So that incident really changed my life. Taught me a lesson that I always tell my colleagues as well. When I see them being a bit more materialistic, I try to calm them down and say, don't worry, we can fix everything. So yeah.
Well, I love that, Ammar. So it sounds a bit almost, I don't know, I'll venture on the word here, but like a spiritual awakening, a cleansing, if you will, and resetting yourself and going, yes, this is important to me. Let's look at it from a different perspective and we'll grow from here. And it's an absolute pleasure to hear that. You mentioned your colleagues. Tell me a little bit about acquiring people, bringing people in. This is your thought baby, if you will. And you always have to have people around you that you can trust and you can rely on. Can you tell us a bit about building your team?
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. And, one thing I must say, I'm very blessed, when it comes to people. There are many, people in my core team who are working with me still, who were with me from day one, and they've never left, whether it was a good time or a bad time. So very lucky about that. But now when we hire new people who don't really understand what was it like on day one or on day zero of Final Rentals, they see a glamorous company, raise funds and everything, going to all these trade shows. They don't see what exactly happened, let's say 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So what we try and do, and, I take a lot of time, hiring people. Like, I take a lot of interviews, and when we shortlist people, I want to know everything about them, their family, how they are, who they live with, what's their take on life, because we want to hire genuine people who, the word that you have used, recently, the spiritual awakening, right? So I think I want to hire people with a great spirit to learn, spirit towards great attitude, spirit towards honesty, sincerity, integrity. So it takes time. But these are the three core values that we try and find in people, and basically then we just induct them into our company. They go through a program. It's a specialized 90 days program, and then they're ready to, let's say, do a full-time job, right? And one important thing is everything can be taught, right? Skills, let's say development, coding, design, everything can be taught. But the spirit of life, integrity, honesty, I think these are the things that people, they have inside them or they don't have inside them, unfortunately, right? So that's where we come in. That's where I come in also, to understand, because for me every person is important. I want to know every person who works in the company, whether we are right now team of 17, tomorrow we will be team of 100, but I want to keep this connection between me and my colleagues, because together we create a lot of value for common men, right? All these guys who are using me, they're common people. They have small car hire companies. They are just a person next door, right? And we are helping such people. So it's important to find the right people who understand the spirit of those people as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it seems like you're a very welcoming person. You have a very approachable nature. And you mentioned that you go to trade shows and that. So there's a lot of networking going on, a lot of chit chat, onboarding people, getting clients, getting staff, that sort of thing. Is this a skill that you've always had? Is it something that you've learned over time?
So I do not think that I had this skill, because when I look at my life, it has been two different people, really. One person that you see now on LinkedIn, who goes to all these trade shows, talks and everything. And there was a person who was just behind the scenes always. When I was working with budget or these big corporates, I was always behind the scene guy, never really went out or gave a talk. But this thing I discovered when I was invited for my first talk, when I was literally down to my last, last few months in Fine Rentals. So there was this event called a Travel Technology Conference, TTC, in Dubai. And they said, why don't you come and talk about Fine Rentals? And it was 2019, I think it was March or something. And I said, yeah, why not? But I had no idea about public speaking, had never been on the stage, always been in my comfort zone, and always made others present something to me instead of me presenting to them. It was like a reverse thing, right, for me. So, but one thing that happened was I was completely nervous before the talk. But the moment I started talking, you'll be surprised to know I was mic'd up. I did not even go on the stage. I was talking within the audience, walking around and talking. Okay, and
Brilliant.
because I had no idea that if I have to go up and talk, I was that on the naivety level, right? So, but those guys thought that it was my style. That's how I talk.
Yes.
So they were looking at me and looking behind and and trying to catch me. And after that talk, a lot of people came to me and they said they have never heard such genuine, speech before. Like they've always seen these presentations, PowerPoint, and all the screens, but this is the first talk that they felt that the guy who was talking is not rehearsed, but he's just talking from his heart, like honesty. Talk with honesty, because whatever I was saying, I truly believed in it. No matter how much my voice was shaking, no matter how nervous I was, but whatever I was saying, I actually believed in it, and it was my truth. So that's when I discovered something inside me, that I really have this thing that I must go out and talk. So fast forward today, Matt, I think I've given more than 65 talks on stages with 100 people, 5,000 people, 500 people, and it just started coming into me. I think from the God, really, that I must just go out and talk, tell my story.
Oh, terrific. Now, it's very refreshing to hear that. And a lot of people will argue about the place for sentimentality and honesty and openness in business. And, that's a totally different story. But it seems like people are connecting with this and they appreciate your openness and
Yes,
honesty. And it's nice to hear that you are encouraging the same thing with your employees, your colleagues. Do you think there's a good place for this in business?
I think, to be very honest, any business that is sustainable, that has significant, footprint, in the world, is literally, built on these principles. Yes, I completely understand. Many people say, "Oh, keep emotions away from business." There's no place for emotions here. This is business. We don't have time. Time is running out. All this crap. Sorry for my language. But the truth is, today, business that really works, that is sustainable and is is long term, is built on these values. I'll give you one, very, very small example here, Matt, and you will be very happy to hear this story. So we were pitching our solution to one company in Dominican Republic, in Santo Domingo, Las Americas airport. And the owner of the business was Spanish, right? So we sent him our proposal. We had a few Zoom meetings with him. It was mostly my sales team, and he signed the contract. But after signing the contract, he disappeared. He was ghosting us for 3 weeks. We were not able to reach him completely. Okay, and I knew that this country has huge potential. Dominican Republic was a huge potential country. We must have it. It was good for him, not even more than us. It was good for him, this partnership. So I told my colleague, I said, Elizabeth, let's call him on WhatsApp video call, and patch me in the call.
Yeah.
So we called him, and she patched me in the call. And I said, hi, Juan, how are you doing? I understand you have signed the contract. It is possible that because of language barrier, you don't understand, or maybe now you're feeling nervous about it. Let me tell you one thing. Your contract will be cancelled. The moment you say cancel it, I will cancel it. There will be no legal implications, nothing. You have to pay nothing. It will be cancelled. But you are the owner. I am the owner. I want to, show you something. So I showed him some numbers that I'm really excited about in his country. His country, is booming for car rentals, and he can be very, very successful because he's serving at the airport. So after that 10 minutes call, he said, okay, can you please send me all this information in Spanish? I said, yes, of course. And then after the call, I translated everything in Spanish on Google Translate. We sent it to him. He signed it. He signed the contract again. He paid us. Fast forward now, 12 months, he has made £250,000 using our platform.
Wow.
Right? So that's the kind of business I'm doing here. There are no lies here. It's very transparent. And because we have so much data that we can use to tell somebody if it will work or not, right? So being very honest, very transparent, that the data is saying that you are maybe a medium to small to medium level of transactions you will have, or you will have a high volume. So we share everything, and now most of these owners understand me as a person who is not just there sending invoices, but we are a company who really cares.
Right.
Giving them information beforehand that this is what we expect. There'll be a hike or there'll be a low season. Be careful, work on the prices, up or down. So I think I've built a great family so far of 31 countries.
Terrific, Ammar. Thank you. That is a very, very cool story, and I'm very glad that he came back to you and that he's found success through using your platform. Are you a family man?
Yes, I'm a family man. I have 2 kids. I live with my wifey and kids, and my parents always come and live with me here in Cardiff. And I believe in family. I think family is our power. Really, it motivates us. And when you are basically looking at your family as a very important part of your life, you will never try to find the work-life balance. Because let's be very honest here. I'm an entrepreneur, right? I'm a founder. My life will always be driven towards what I do. That's my identity, right? So that's the thing, right? I don't have to think about, I don't have a work-life balance. I can always go now and play with my son and come back, right? Do my work, then go again, take him to football, then come back. So I never really think like, it's a burden. So I'm a pure, family man.
That's terrific. So it's part and parcel of your daily life, spending time with your family, doing your job, you're in and out, and you're happy at arrangements. That's good to hear. Now, quite often I ask the question and we'll get splits down the middle and we get some interesting things, but I like what you said. Tell me a little bit, let's talk a bit about what's happening now, and without giving away any secrets, what are you looking towards? Where's the future for Final Rentals?
So we have our first funding round exactly same month last year, and we have shown some remarkable progress based on that. Whatever we promised in the forecast, we have been able to achieve. And basically, now what we're trying to do, we are trying to raise another round. And basically, if we're able to do that, we will be in 85 countries in the next 2 years, with £500 million as our gross revenue and almost 18% margin. So this is my mission now, to basically create more value for our car rental users, and basically add more people in the team, more young talent, whether it's data, AI, and on design. we are very big on design, basically. So I think we are in such a perfect place now to achieve something that is basically unachievable in my industry, because it's B2B. It's very hard to sell. If you ask anybody, how's B2B selling, they'll say it's very hard to sell B2B. So let alone exporting. So I'm not only selling B2B, I'm actually exporting my tech to the world. So really looking forward to closing this round that we have till March, and I think next level will be we can look at a very big Series A and Series B.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit about the funding. Quite a nerve-wracking challenge for a lot of people. When you talk about funding, raising funds, communicating with people, bringing money in, can be quite daunting. How did you overcome that? How is it for you now? Are you comfortable with the process?
So when I was starting to fundraise, right, last year, I think I spent almost 7 months, 8 months in documentation. Because one thing we must understand as founders is fundraising is not a one thing, right? It's not a one-time activity. It's about telling your story, building your business in terms of numbers, financials, and forecasting, right? And not only it will give a clear picture to you as a founder if you own your financial model, it will also create a pathway to growth, right? So in the beginning it was very hard. I'll be honest with you, it was very hard. I didn't know where to get started, getting the pitch deck right, because we are so busy doing our daily job. We don't really get to make all those documents. So, getting the pitch deck right, getting the financial model right, and all those things. And it took me a while, but I have to say my fundraise was very successful, because I was able to fundraise in record time, in 7 months. From day one, 7 months, I was able to close the round. So it was not bad for somebody who came to the UK, who was new to the UK and the ecosystem. So I would say, thanks to God, touch wood, that I was able to do that in 7 months. And now I think I'm very much comfortable with it, because now I know that our business has shown remarkable progress in the last 12 months. I have a great story to tell, and when I meet VCs and I tell them this is what we have been able to achieve, so many of them are happy to understand how capital efficient we are. We haven't really burned much of the capital in sales and all those things, but we have grown the business fundamentally from the ground up. So now I'm very comfortable with it, and also very confident that we can raise funds phase over phase, whether it's now a late seed phase, whether it will be a Series A or Series B. I'm very confident as a founder that we will always be able to do that.
That's terrific. Last one for you. If we are, for our viewers and our listeners, if there's any youngsters or anybody out there wanting to take a leap, wanting to start something, what advice would you give them?
So my simple advice is this, right? As a founder, we always ask our friends, family, or parents that, hey, I'm doing this, I'm going to make this idea, what do you think? And they say, yeah, of course, that's fantastic, let's do this. So if you are selling, chicken burgers in a town where everybody is a vegetarian, no matter how awesome your chicken burger is, nobody will buy it, right? So the very important thing is the demand, right? And when it comes to a product demand or anything, as a founder, inside we always know if it works or not. Let's be honest, inside you will always know. You don't have to ask. In the beginning, first ask yourself, looking in the mirror, this is what I'm doing. Is it my purpose? Is this my life's purpose? Or is it just because, having a startup is a cool thing today, and I can say I'm a founder, right? Is it just for that, right? Just be honest. Find your purpose. The moment you will find your purpose, right, you will stop asking questions. Because Matt, we use things made by others, right, in the world. So I'm using this mic right now made by somebody else. You're using a laptop made by somebody else. I'm sitting here on this table made by somebody else. And all those guys were not more smarter than us. They had the same eyes, same ears, same hands, right? But they had some kind of passion to deliver, right? So you ask yourself, what's your passion to deliver? And when you are not alive in this world, what will you leave that people say, this thing was made by this guy, man, that's fantastic, right? Once you are able to answer that question is your purpose, right? And then if that's your answer to the question, go for it, fully focused, and that will always take off. It will take time. It takes time, but it will always take off.
That is fantastic. Ammar, I feel inspired now, actually. I feel like going and starting something right now. I want to say thank you from myself and obviously the team at Temi for sharing your insights and your wisdom with us. It's quite a journey, and we will be wishing you all the best for the future. I think it's just terrific. Where can we find you if we're looking for you? If we'd like to get hold of you, can you give us some details?
Matt, thank you very much for this conversation. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you can find me on LinkedIn with my name, Ammar Akhtar, Ammar Akhtar. If you would like to check what we do and what we are building, always it's finalrentals.com, and we are also available in all the social media channels, and also on TikTok. I post a lot of videos. It's called The Story Heroes, right? And also I'm also available on Instagram with the same videos. So you can find me on all these channels, and always happy to collaborate.
That's terrific. Thank you for sharing with us, Ammar, and we will be keeping our eye on you in the future.
Lovely, Matt. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.